Hey, what is happening, everybody? So, I'm Sal.
I'm Debbie.
And this is our first YouTube live. Hey, look, we're live. Wow. So, this is our first time doing YouTube live. We're probably not going to be very good at it, and I'll try and watch your comments. And thank you, Christy, for the 10,000 subscribers. We were absolutely dumbfounded that we were ever going to hit 10,000. It's kind of amazing to us. So first, let me tell you how the drawings are going to work tonight. We're going to give away an Olive Garden gift card. We are going to give away one of these. That is the Carnival, you can hear me through it, that is the Carnival Horizon. And we're also going to be giving away this awesome mermaid statue that we picked up in Put-in-Bay, Ohio. It is metal. She is really, really cute. She weighs probably about 15 pounds, so she's heavier than she probably looks. And the way we're going to do it is, all you have to do is say hello inside chat. As you guys are saying hello and talking in chat, Debbie's going to be writing down all of your names, and she's going to be putting them inside of this bowl. We're going to do it the easy way, and come time during the video, we are going to just draw names out of the bowl. From Alabama. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Robert. Okay, so I'm not very good at this yet, so you're going to have to kind of bear with us a little bit. So let me tell you just a little bit about us for our first video, because lots of you know me from my videos and know that we talk about cruising. So let me tell you just a little bit how we got into cruising. We've been married for about 22 years, and about 15 years ago, we decided to go on our very first cruise. Matter of fact, it was 17 years ago, because it was literally like 4 days after September 11th happened.
Yeah. And
we were cruising out of Miami on, do you remember what ship?
I do not.
Oh man, the imagination. Usually the women remember this, and yet I can remember it. And we just absolutely fell in love with cruising. Now, the weird thing about traveling right after September 11th was that, unlike now, we were a little afraid when we got to the port, because there were literally military walking around the port, and every one of them had an M16 in their hand, and dogs, and I mean just hundreds of them everywhere. And it was actually a little daunting. You remember that?
I do remember that.
But we went on the imagination, and we absolutely loved it. So we came home and we decided that we were going to be frequent cruisers, and we went on a couple of more. But then a company that I do business with called WeDJ.com, that's my bird in the background, called WeDJ.com, we got together and we were going to do a large group cruise on board. Also, I think our first one was on the Imagination.
I do think that was it, either that or the Fascination, one of the two.
One of the two.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. The first year we had about 60 people. The second year we had about 250 people. And it progressed, and I think at our last one we did before the recession hit, we had almost 700 people on board one cruise, and it was fantastic. But one of the things that happened about halfway through is the travel agency that we were booking through called us in for a meeting, and they said, we'd like you to meet our business development manager with Carnival. And we went to that meeting, and the business development manager and I ended up becoming friends, and he said to me, he said, Sal, you know, this travel agency is making a decent income off of this large group cruise that you have. He said, why don't you sign up yourself and become a travel agent? And I said, well, what do you have to do? And he says, well, in Ohio, you really don't have to do anything. All you got to do is sign up for CLIA, which is $295 a year, which is the Cruise Line Industry Association. And boom, you're a travel agent. So I said, okay, Jeff, where do I sign? So we signed up for the group cruise to be travel agents ourselves and started booking the cruise ourselves, and really started getting to know a lot of the people in Miami because of the large group cruises. Now, also, at the same time, my main business was an internet company, which is what WeDJ is. And I had the brain surgeon idea of reserving the domain.coms for Carnival honeymoons, Royal Caribbean honeymoons, Cunard honeymoons, pretty much every cruise line with the exception of Disney. They were smart enough that they already had their own. And I started building websites with a back end that were really specifically designed to sell cruises completely online. It even connected to Carnival's website and used their database engine, so we really never had to touch the website. And our business development manager, Jeff Cox at the time, God bless his soul, he put in writing to us that we could use all of Carnival's logos, insignias, all their music, and literally lay our web page out any way that we felt fit. So what I did was I literally kind of mimicked Carnival's website. And soon we were booking more honeymoon cruises on Carnival, I think, than probably Carnival was booking. And it became pretty abundant. So we ultimately got a letter from Carnival's lawyer saying, hey, you know what? You can no longer use any of our logos because people are confusing your site with ours, even though we were only booking Carnival on Carnival's site. So we sent them back a nice letter saying, hey, we have so much invested in this site and we have in writing from our business development manager that we were allowed to use these. And they called back and they said, you're right, we can't stop you from using them. So ultimately, the president of Carnival Cruise Line called us and they said, hey, we would just like to buy your business. So they ended up buying CarnivalHoneymoons.com and the business from us, which was a really good day. And we've been booking large group cruises on Carnivals ever since, and we've been on lots and lots and lots of Carnival cruises. We probably cruise 6, 7, 8 times a year, and just really, really love it. And we've really gotten to know the ins and outs of Carnival, and what you can do, what you can't do, and really gotten to know a lot of the people, both on their support staff. Debbie's busy writing down names, other people's typing. We've really gotten to know their support staff down in Miami and a lot of the upper echelon at Carnival. And it's been a really great time, and there's really no place that we'd rather be than on a Carnival ship. So that being said, if you have any questions for us, we are happy to answer them. I'm going to scroll up and look at some of the comments. I'll let you entertain everybody.
I think Moscato should be up.
Moscato is our bird, in case you could probably see him up there. He is our company mascot. He's not talking that much right now, but he might get on a tangent where he starts to talk. Austin, can't wait for my first cruise on the 15th. What ship are you going on, Austin? And DNS will be cruising the Regal Princess on December 16th. You know, we get asked a lot why we don't go on other cruise lines, and because we've only ever been on Carnival. And I think the reason for us is Carnival treats us really well. We know a lot of the people there, both on board the ships. We know a lot of the staff. We know a lot of the people that work down in Miami. So our particular situation, they treat us really well. So we really don't have a reason to try other cruise lines. But not to say that other cruise lines aren't better than Carnival. I'm sure they are. But for us and the experience that they give us, I think Carnival is just our choice on the cruise line that we like the most. Would you guys say, this is coming from SDMFSD, how am I even going to try and pronounce that? Would you guys say that the full drink package is worth it for Carnival? Me and my girlfriend are 23 and, yeah, I just lost you. 23 and don't drink a lot, but I want to go waste. Okay, that's a good question. The question is the drink package worth it? Now, we didn't buy the drink package for a long time. As a matter of fact, when I did the Lalito Loca, I actually was the one who talked against the package. But I'll say this, on our last cruise, we did buy the the drink package, the Cheers package. And I don't drink at all. Very, very rare. My wife drinks socially, doesn't really drink a lot. I don't think she ever had a day where she had all 15 drinks. So the first thing I would say, in our opinion, is you don't really have to drink 15 drinks financially to benefit from it. If you drink 15 drinks, you've way gotten more than what it costs.
Absolutely.
To benefit financially, I think it's probably about 8 or 9 drinks. But the biggest benefit that I saw is, because my wife likes to drink socially, a drink with dinner, a drink at the show, on our other cruises, every time we order a drink, Debbie's always worried about what's our final bill going to look like? What are we going to be charged when we get off the cruise ship? So a lot of times she won't order a drink because she thinks our bill's maybe a little too high, we've been spending too much in port or whatever. And when you buy that package, you really just don't have that worry, because you can just drink. If you drink a lot, great. If you don't drink a lot, that's fine too. But never once during the cruise did we have to actually look down and worry about what our drink bill was. Mm-hmm. I benefited from it. I did the specialty coffees every day, milkshakes on a lot of ships that have the milkshakes. So there's a lot of other benefits for the Cheers package as well. But I would say, yeah, I think that we would definitely do the Cheers package again, even though financially we ended up probably spending more than than what we would have spent on board. What do you think?
I don't know. We did the math on it when we got home with all the different receipts that they had given us, and it actually said that we had actually saved like $200 or $300, and we didn't even come anywhere near close to the full 15 drinks per each of us. So I think it was beneficial. We do have another couple questions here. Christy Lee asks, do you recommend insurance directly through Carnival or a different vendor? And I know you have some pretty good answers on that one.
Okay, there was actually two questions. There's one on the insurance, whether you should buy it directly through Carnival. And then we have somebody else who also asked, and I can't find who it was, but they also asked the same question, but for shore excursions, which should you do, through Carnival? Mm-hmm. I actually have pretty strong opinions on both. If you can, I would book your insurance through Carnival. And here's why. And I also buy them through other places as well, depending on the trip I'm taking. But I will say this. We cruised on the Legend, I believe it was, out of New Orleans. And when we cruised on the Legend, if you've sailed out of New Orleans, you know that before you get to the Gulf of Mexico and into open water, you have to travel down the Mississippi River for about 5 hours. And we went during hurricane season, but when we left, there was no hurricanes in sight. So we left New Orleans, we came down the Mississippi River, we sailed through the Gulf of Mexico and went to Progreso, Mexico, and
it's Progreso, Yucatan.
Or Yucatan rather, and we went to several ports in Mexico. Well, when we were in Cozumel, by the time we got there, there was a hurricane coming. And the captain announced, even though we had beautiful weather, that the hurricane was going to be about a day behind us. So we really didn't have anything to worry about. We would get back to the port in plenty of time and be able to get on our way home. So the last day of the cruise, we came back into the Gulf of Mexico. Now the hurricane is probably about 10, 12 hours behind us. It was beautiful skies. And we got halfway up the Gulf, and the captain comes back on and he says, I have bad news. The bad news was that they closed the Mississippi River to all marine traffic. So now we're in the Gulf of Mexico, and the hurricane is at the opening to the Gulf of Mexico, traveling straight towards New Orleans. So we literally had to sit in the Gulf of Mexico for 4 extra days while the hurricane literally came directly over top of us. They locked every exterior door on the ship, and we were literally like a cork just bobbing up and down in the ocean. The lights were flickering, televisions didn't work, TV didn't work, internet didn't work because the satellites were all, down because of the hurricane. And you didn't know whether you were really going to live or die, which on a side note was probably one of our most fun cruises we've ever taken. But we were trapped at sea 4 extra days. Now we live in Ohio, so we had to fly back, and we were scheduled to fly back obviously on the day we got back. So everybody on the ship was worried about their flights and whether or not they'd be able to catch another flight back. But because we had no internet and no phone, we really couldn't do that from the cruise ship. So 4 days later, we get into port and everybody's rushing towards telephones to try and call those airlines to try and get those reservations because now there's several cruise ships trying to all get reservations home. And we get called to the information desk and they say, well, since you bought your airfare and your travel insurance through us, here are your tickets. You'll be going home tomorrow. The ship is going to stay in port tonight. You're welcome to stay on board and use the ship as a hotel, and all of your arrangements were taken advantage of or taken care of by Miami while you were on the cruise ship. So I have to say, if we had bought our insurance through another company outside of Carnival, then we would have been one of those people when we got back to the port of trying to scramble for plane tickets, purchasing them ourselves, and then getting a refund back from our travel insurance. So for us, for that experience, it definitely made me say that yes, it is definitely better to buy the insurance through Carnival. Now that being said, Carnival's insurance also is lacking in some things too, where you might be able to find some better options on private insurance, like I believe a lot of insurance have cancel for any reason, where you can literally just the day before a cruise, if you decide you don't want to go, you can use that just to cancel your cruise and get your money back. So if you hear there's going to be bad weather or your ports are changed because of bad weather, other insurances have that where Carnival doesn't have that. So it is lacking a little bit.
They also have somewhere if you miss a port, you'll get refunded for, or a certain amount given
Yes.
back to you for that, as well as if you are delayed for so many hours, then they will also give you a refund for that as well.
Correct. Carnivals, not Carnivals.
No,
the other
the
insurance.
extra,
So
the other insurances.
it's
right.
really what you prefer. I know if we ever travel during hurricane season again, which I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will,
we
too.
will definitely buy our airfare and insurance through Carnival, because I'll tell you, that was a really big benefit. So we also had a question on whether you should buy your shore excursions through Carnival.
Okay.
And that's a question that I get asked a whole lot. What you have to understand is that when you go to that shore excursion desk on board a ship, they are reselling the same shore excursions that you can buy in advance online or from the people selling them right there at the port. So because of that, Carnival's taking about a 50% commission right off the top. So rather than just take a commission, Carnival boosts their prices about 50 cents or 50% rather, and takes that. So your cruise is going to be a lot more expensive if you buy it on Carnival. Where if you wait, virtually every port you get to, especially down in the Caribbean, there's going to have people right at the port selling excursions for about half the price of what Carnival sells them for. And they're conducted by the exact same tour operators that the Carnival excursions get theirs from. But here's the main difference, and the main difference in what you're paying. The main difference is if you purchase it through Carnival, and let's say you go out on that shore excursion and on the way back your bus gets a flat tire, and you're an hour late coming back to the cruise ship. If you purchase those excursions directly through the cruise line, you can rest assured the ship's going to be waiting for you when you get back in port, even if you arrive late. Now, if you go out on your own and purchase a shore excursion, well, then you're in a bit of trouble if you're late, because you'll be waving to the ship as it sails off without you. So there's definitely a downside to buying a shore excursion not through Carnival. The other thing I want to mention while we're talking about this is Carnival also has a pretty good scam going on. Well, I'm not going to say scam, but no, hell, it's a scam. If you're going to go to the beach on virtually any Caribbean island, Carnival will sell you for like $75 a beach excursion. Never, under any circumstances, buy a beach excursion from Carnival. If you're going for a family of 4, you're going to end up with a $300 bill for that excursion. They virtually go to the exact same beach that the taxi cab right outside will take you for $15. There's no difference. And actually, it's a little bit better because you'll be able to get back whenever you want to. You won't have to wait for the excursion to leave. So that's the one excursion I wouldn't buy through Carnival. I also wouldn't buy it from the vendors out on the pier. Just grab a cab. So if you're going to the beach, that's definitely don't buy an excursion.
We did have another question. Somebody had asked if any Carnival ships are more handicap wheelchair accessible than others.
No. All Carnival ships are handicap accessible. That being said, I have seen, and it's really all Carnival ships, I have seen it hard to get down the gangway for those in wheelchairs. My wife has had both of her hips replaced, so we know that pain. We've been there on a cruise where we've had to use a mobility scooter. Carnival does have special handicap accessible cabins though. So when you're booking your cruise, make sure you ask for handicap accessible cabins. The shower's a little wider. They have the bars on there to hold on to. Same thing on the toilet. They have the special bars. And I believe, I'm not positive, but most of the ships don't have the lip to go over to get into the bathroom as well.
That's what I was actually going to bring up. I think some of the older ships, and I might not be 100% accurate on that one, but I think some of the older ships, like out on the Lido deck, you actually have to like step over to go into any of the restrooms or anything. I think some of the newer ones aren't like that.
Sorry, I'm reading. I'm going to fix this tripod because it's like sneaking up on us. Sorry, guys. There we go. That's better. All right, let's see. What do you think? You want to draw the drawing for the gift card?
Sure.
All right. So this is a gift card for the Olive Garden. By the way, thank you everybody for getting us to 10,000. This is still not right.
Somebody jumped out.
Thank you everybody for getting us to 10,000 subscribers. Our next goal is 25,000. I know that's a huge, lofty goal. While she's getting ready to draw, I will say it's nice that I'm going to be able to put this on my wall finally. My 10,000 subscriber YouTube play button. Yeah, I know it's not from YouTube. I had it made myself, but I had one made right there when I had 1,000 subscribers because I was so proud to have 1,000 subscribers. Felt like it took forever to get there that I had to get a second one made for 10,000 subscribers. Okay, so this is going to be for the...
We have 2 more last minute entries.
Throw those in there. We got 2 more
real
entries.
quick.
All right, one more. Hold on. This is going to be for the Olive Garden gift cards. Now, to get the prizes today, if you grab a pen, I will give this address again. Actually, you know what? Just send me a message from my Facebook account. I will make sure at the end of this video. I'm really easy to find on Facebook, but I will make sure at the end of this video in the comments I put a direct link to my Facebook page as well. Just send me a messenger with your name, and I'll shoot you back, and we'll communicate, and I'll get your address, and we'll get it sent out to you. For the gift card, we'll send that by email, so that's real easy to get. But for the physical prizes, we're going to have to mail them to you. So we have a name drawn here. Can you see that? Maybe? Newman's Own Travel.
Let me write on that they won the
You will be going to the Olive Garden on us. So just send me that, oh, my computer froze. Just send me that Facebook Messenger and we will get that handle for you.
No, we will put that right there off to the side. Okay.
All right, now it's in writing, so it has to be right.
There you go.
Okay, Jay Ferris 21. I'm confused. How do you get entered into the drawing? Jay Ferris, you're already entered. All you have to do is type something in chat. We said that at the beginning of the video. If you weren't entered into that, and we have 2 more things we're giving away, all you have to do is enter into chat any type of anything really. She's right. Anybody type, she's putting you in there. If you do a super chat, we should do 2 entries. Nah, that's all right. Okay, so, hi Extremes. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me about this, so I'm going to do a slight introduction. Come on, buddy. Got your nose. He loves to say got your nose.
And peekaboo.
And peekaboo. Hi, Moscato. Look, you're on TV. This is Moscato. This is our eclectic parrot. He's in the background on most of my videos. Some of my videos I make late in the evening, so when he's sleeping, I don't wake him up for it. But that is Moscato. He is a male, which is why he's green with the candy corn beard, or beak rather, candy corn beak. The males do talk a lot more than the females. Sometimes it's impossible to get him to shut up. Got your nose. When you touch his nose, he loves to say, got your nose. Come on. Ah. So that is Moscato. Lots of people ask about him. Want to go back up?
Unfortunately, we can't do that for the bird. Kevin says he wants to win the bird.
You want to sit up there for a little bit? Don't poop on me. All right. All right, let's see. So we are answering cruise questions. And you're very welcome, Newman's Own Travel. Make sure you send us that information on, or just contact me from Facebook, and we will get you all set up. But just if you search Sal Pitera on Facebook, I'll come right up.
What did we do with the paper with their name on it?
I gave it to you.
I think Moscato might have flown it away with his wings then.
Okay, we'll probably write it down. Oh, get back up there.
Well, we have it written down, so we will make sure that gets to them.
Our favorite cruise destination. I think we have a lot of them, actually. Okay, not so bad.
I know Belize is one of our favorites. And I think Curacao is one of our favorites as well.
Yes, I would agree with that. For a long time, my favorite was
St. Martin.
St. Martin. Matter of fact, we had planned on moving to St. Martin until the hurricane came and really destroyed the island, and that changed our plans a little bit. Yes, I've been on every Carnival cruise ship, Robert. But I think our favorite two has to be Belize and Curacao. We like Belize because if you've been there, you know that Belize City is kind of like a third world country. And we really like to explore other cultures and see how other people live, and really get to know people and talk to people and just, let me turn that to see you a little better. There you go. And just see how people other than us live and get to know their culture. So Belize is definitely a favorite for us. We don't really do shore excursions there. We more just walk around town and get to know people. And Carousel, if you've been to Carousel, it's spelled like Caraco. A lot of people call it Caraco. It's actually Carousel. Carousel is just so beautiful. There's no place like it.
It's so unique too, because they have that floating bridge that gets you across to like the main shopping area as well.
Christy Lee asked, do we prefer the new larger ships or the old smaller ships? That's a good question too.
I think to us it doesn't matter. I think we just enjoy cruising so much that we would do a newer ship or an older ship. It's more about the experience than the ship itself, I would think.
No. I think I prefer the newer ships. I'm not a big fan of the Vista and Horizon, but I think I do prefer the newer ships. Now, for the group cruises we do, I actually prefer the older ships because those are working cruises, and as we're doing the events on board, everything's laid out pretty much on the one deck, on the promenade deck.
Yeah.
So it's just easier, but with the exception of the Horizon and the Fantasy, which are great ships, I think I actually prefer the newer ships. They have better internet.
Well, on the newer ships, I do like the sports decks are a little more advanced now than some of the other ones. They have like the floating bikes, I don't know what they're called offhand, and the ropes you can climb and stuff like that. And this last one we went on was the Horizon, and they even had outside like elliptical stuff you could use too, which was kind of neat.
Now I know the next question is going to get is, I'm sure, is why don't I care for the Horizon or the Vista? They're beautiful ships. They're huge ships. But in my opinion, the problem, no, you can't step on there. In my opinion, I don't see it. What am I looking at?
We have some more people joining.
In my opinion, the Horizon and the Vista, while they're much bigger ships, they've packed too much to do on them. And because there's so much stuff to do, they've made the rooms a lot smaller. So, for instance, the main theater. On all of the other ships, thank you. On all of the other ships, when you sit in the main theater, there's enough room on the main theater between the two seatings to accommodate everybody who's on the ship. So, as long as you're going to one of the two seatings, there's going to be room for you. Where when you get onto the Vista and the Horizon, the comedy clubs are much smaller. The main lounge is much smaller.
That's true.
So there's just a lot more lines to get into things. You'll go to the main theater for a show, and it'll all be standing room only if you can even get in. So while there's more to do, there's actually less you can get into and a lot longer lines on the Vista and Horizon. So I wasn't a real big fan of that.
We have somebody asking, when can you make your dinner reservations?
So you make, if you're going through a travel agent, your travel agents will actually do that for you when you book your reservation. And as long as it's available, you'll get into that time slot right away. If it's not available, they'll waitlist you for it. And if you're a platinum or diamond member, you're pretty much guaranteed to get any time slot that you want. If you don't and you need a particular time slot, on the first day of the cruise, the maitre d' is always available at 1 p.m. in one of the dining rooms, so you have to ask which dining room. It's usually the center dining room, and they will do their very best to accommodate you and move your dining requests. I've really never seen anybody not get accommodated by the maitre d' if they couldn't get dining up front first.
Robert Cruz says he thinks Moscato wants a kiss.
All right, Moscato, you're going back up because I have a feeling you're about to poop. It's been a little while. Go ahead, buddy.
Lisa asks, what is your opinion on FTTF?
I love Faster to the Fun. I wish they wouldn't keep changing it, but I love Faster to the Fun. The benefits you get are great.
I have my quirks about it. I don't personally care for the fact that they now sell faster to the fun. For those of you who have not earned that yet, it's great for you guys. You guys can purchase it, and you can experience those perks. However, those of us who have put in the time and the money for it, who have earned it, it's kind of it kind of takes away from those who have earned it, in my opinion.
Actually, my mistake. I was thinking of the loyalty program, not Faster to the Fun. Yeah, I hate Faster to the Fun. If you don't have status with Carnival, I was thinking of the VIFP program. If you don't have status with Carnival, I guess Faster to the Fun is great. But when you've purchased a lot of cruises with Carnival, and you earn those perks, and Carnival, is always telling you get these perks when you spend lots of money with them and buy lots of cruises. I do think that people that have earned the status get kind of ripped off when other people can just buy their way into the same line, and yeah, I guess I really don't like Faster to the Fun. Sorry, my tripod's like slanting again. My gorilla pod's not being a gorilla. There we go. Okay, let's see. Taking my very first cruise on the Carnival Dream. This is Terry Moore. The rest of my family has cruised before, but my first time. Any tips for a 60-year-old limited walking and using a cane? I'll let you answer that because your parents go on a lot of cruises with us.
What was it?
Our parents used to go on a lot of cruises with us.
+year-old limited walking.
I talk about my parents.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I would just say lots of breaks.
Well, one of the last cruises that we went with, we had both his parents, and it was, I guess, there was more than one of us that had a cane. And basically what we had done is we had just taken stops. We'd sit down for a few minutes. If you see, a restaurant or lounge bar, stop in, have a drink, just relax a little bit. Sit down and enjoy the view, people watch, you can do all kinds of things. But like Sal said, take a lot of breaks and just relax and enjoy the day.
Carnival Conquest this Saturday, which is, by the way, my absolute favorite ship. I love the Conquest.
That was our very first Halloween cruise, was the Carnival Conquest.
Yes, if you haven't been on a Halloween cruise, it's a little more expensive than all the dates like right around Halloween. But Halloween cruises are a lot of fun. They usually have Halloween costumes on board, and if you have a good cruise director, they'll take like the arcade and turn it into a big haunted house. Halloween on board a cruise ship is a lot of fun. Okay.
We're getting a lot of new people coming in.
Debbie's writing things down. I'm looking for more questions. Let's see. Kayla, are you in North Carolina? Please tell me you're not in the hurricane zone, and if you are, that you've evacuated. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right, but I think it's Fontes Duo.
Deo? I was just going to say the same one.
Carnival really doesn't give you a discount on groups. As a matter of fact, sometimes it can be slightly more expensive than if you buy individual reservations. But there are some definite perks to going on a group cruise, and we specialize in group cruise. So if you want to send me a message on my Facebook, I'm happy to help you. Some of the perks are things like you can have cocktail parties and private events on board. Usually the price is very similar, but there are some perks that you can get for your group. Sunshine was fun. Sunshine is a great ship. I love the waterfall. Platinum is great, Christy. Speaking of Halloween cruise, are there different drinks or does the Cheers cover it? Your Cheers program is going to cover any drink. So if they make special drinks for Halloween, as long as the drink is under $20.
It doesn't cover that very first day that's in the specialty cup, though.
I did not know that.
That it does not cover.
Was that just out of New York, though? That might have just been out of New York.
That I'm not sure, but I do remember them telling us that the drink package didn't cover the specialty drink.
Okay,
So
so
that's something
that is something we'll
into.
find out. On our last cruise, they told her that the drink program didn't cover the specialty drink. But I would imagine if they just make like normal special drinks just because it's Halloween,
Right.
that it would be covered up to $20. But I will find that out and include it in one of our next videos. I think it's because we cruised out of New York and the specialty drink was the first night.
That might have been.
I think the rest of the specialty drinks on other nights of the cruise would probably been covered. But I don't know. Jordan, Atlantic excursion worth the price in Bahamas? I don't know because I haven't taken the excursion, but I know you can take a taxi cab over there for about $15. And then you can buy most of the things that Carnival's going to sell you once you get in there, which I imagine would be less expensive than purchasing through Carnival since Carnival takes a cut. So personally, I've been to the Atlantis many times when we're in Nassau, but I've never taken the excursion. I've always just taken a cab because it's literally only a 10-minute cab drive away. And then once you're on the property, everything is there. The casino, the shops, the aquarium. You can pay to use their beach and pool. And I can't imagine that they give Carnival a discount since Carnival takes a percentage off the top.
We might have frozen up again.
I think that's just the video. This should not be frozen. We can always just go like this. Sorry, our computers are frozen up, so we can't see the chat. So we're going to refresh our computers real quick. Have you cruised to Alaska? Hell no. She wants to. I have this theory. I know about this other boat that sailed through an area where there were icebergs. It didn't do too well. I ain't going on no Alaskan cruises. No place where there's icebergs for me. I want to have the illusion that, God forbid, if that ship were to sink, that I could survive. And no Alaskan cruises in my future.
We have Lisa asking us if we have any excursions recommendations for St. Thomas for a group of 12 or so. I believe every time we've been to St. Thomas, we've pretty much explored because there's just so much to see right there at the port.
There is. There's one really cool place in St. Thomas. Let me Google the actual name of it real quick. Hold on one second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Going on.
The Coral World Ocean Park in St. Thomas. It is really cool. I would recommend taking a cab there, not the excursion. A cab is going to cost you about $20 each way. And there is a price to get into Coral World. And it's kind of like a park that has lots of live animals, and they're all walking around, and you can swim with dolphins there. But literally right outside the front door of the park, there's also a beautiful, pristine beach. It is a little bit crowded at that beach, but it is beautiful, and you can go snorkeling there for $5. You can rent snorkel gear there right at the entrance to the beach. The beach is free. It is an absolute...
Is that the beach that we went to that had the
no,
pelicans?
that was on the other side, or next to. This is the one I went to with Dominic.
Okay, because I know we went snorkeling on one beach, and the pelicans were so close that they were literally nose diving right into the water, like less than a foot away from us.
That is, I don't remember the name of that beach. It's on the other side of St. Thomas. Let me see if I can Google it real quick. I remember it. This is another beach in St. Thomas that is called Koki Beach. Koki Beach is a lot quieter. There's not going to be nearly as many people, but it is just a beach. You can also rent snorkeling gear there, but there's not really any restaurants there. But if you want to go for just a nice beach excursion, Koki Beach is really nice too. And a lot less people, a lot more private. But you also won't see as many fish. We didn't see, on the other sid when we were near the coral reef on that beach, there was a reef there, and there's a lot more fish when me and Nick went snorkeling.
But we had pelicans.
But we had pelicans. Okay, you ready to draw our next drawing?
Actually, we got one more name here.
We got one more, and then we are going to have a drawing for this. Compliments of Carnival. We got this actually on the Vista to give away. They gave that to us. And mix them up.
I'm going to let you do that. I have 2 more to add for the next drawing.
And you see that? Terry Moore. So Terry, if you send me a Facebook message with your name and address, make sure you include your name if your name's on Facebook isn't Terry Moore, and we will get that sent out to you.
Ron is asking if your video is mirrored. He says the lettering on your shirt is backwards.
That's because it doesn't say Carnival, it says Lavernacar. I don't know, you're just not reading it right. It probably is. I was trying to use my regular video camera for this, and for those of you who got to see me pretty much running around in my underwear earlier, as I didn't realize I was actually doing an actual live event, as I was trying to test it, we just couldn't get my my camera to work right, so we ended up using my iPhone, which I think is doing a pretty good job. I'm using the iPhone X, and it seems to look pretty clear. I don't know what the sound sounds like, so maybe you guys can let me know if the sound is okay and syncing up with our mouths okay.
Now, Terry, she won the Olive Garden as well? Is
No.
that what that was? Or that was the picture? Okay, picture.
Sound is good. Cool. iPhone came through. Let's see. Yes, DNS Travel World is probably the #1 thing that I tell people when they go on a cruise. Now, always fly in the day prior to your cruise. We worked for an airline, and we learned this literally every day. We would see people that were flying in the day of the cruise, and you just never know. Even if you live in a place where the weather is good, that airplane might be coming from some place where the weather is bad before it gets to you. And I mean, one delay, really, if you're flying in the day of your cruise, and you're going to end up missing that cruise. So always, no matter what happens, always fly in the day prior to the cruise. Get a hotel. It's worth the extra $100 for the hotel. Not only have another evening to enjoy, but you really take a chance of missing the ship if you fly in the day of the cruise. So I could not agree with that anymore.
We have Janet asking about special needs for dietary menus. If they have a request for special needs, do they get a special menu, or how would they do that?
Yeah, talk to your travel agent. When we book a cruise for the general public, we can let them know when our customer has special needs. There's actually a special needs department that we call into. For instance, Carnival no longer lets you bring any bottled water or anything really in a plastic bottle on board the cruise ship. If you're going to bring anything, it's got to be either the 12-pack case of canned soda or your bottle of wine that you're allowed to bring. But I have a special need. I had stomach surgery and most of my stomach was removed, so I have to drink Gatorade all day long, and I've been cheating lately and drinking Diet Snapple. Snapple, you can send me my check anytime. I've been cheating and drinking Diet Snapple, but I have to drink Gatorade throughout the day, all day, every day. And Carnival, with my special need, actually allows me to bring on a couple of cases, literally 8 bottles of bottled Gatorade G2 for every day of my cruise. And I always get to the pier and they always tell me, oh, there's no way they're going to let you on that with it, on the cruise ship with that. But I always get permission from Carnival in advance. And if you have a special need, and again, I got to supply Carnival with medical documentation that I needed. But if you have a special need, Carnival is always very accommodating. And I imagine the other cruise lines are as well. Any special, G. Bernard, any special suggestions for Cozumel and Roatan? Cozumel has a great state park. It's about I don't know whether it's north or south, but when you leave the port, you hang a right, and there's a great state park about 3 miles up the road. I believe it's $12 a person to get in. If you buy it from the cruise line, they're going to charge you about $100. And you can take a cab there very, very inexpensively. It's a great park. It's got snorkeling, it's got food, everything you could want. It's only like $12 to get in. If you don't want to do a park type environment, if you take a left out of the port and go about 5 miles, again, I would take a cab. literally, Cozumel is all shops all along the waterfront, and some great shopping in Cozumel. You'll really like it. For Roatan,
I have a suggestion of one that you may want to think or reconsider doing, just because of experience with our family, is the Zipline. In our Roatan, some of our family members, excuse me, did do the zip lining, and our daughter was with them at the time, and she was underage, but she was teen. And they had a lot of the family members go in front of her, and she was the one staying back with them, even though we didn't want to do it that way. They said that that was the best way to do it for safety. And some of the employees were actually hitting on our daughter, so we kind of had to nip that in the bud. So that's something, if you do that, you just kind of want to err on the side of safety with that one.
and really, I would say that's really anywhere in the Caribbean, especially if you're bringing a minor. Really pay attention, because let's face it, you're in another country, and a lot of times the locals, especially the young guys, think they can take advantage of you, especially the young kids, especially if you have you know, this might sound a little sexist, but men, if you have a daughter out there who's underage, be a little more protective than you would here in the States.
Kevin Lynn says that we look alike.
Okay. As for Roatan, the beach in Roatan is absolutely beautiful. You literally take a cable car over there. It's beautiful. The weather's always nice and warm there. It very rarely rains. I would definitely recommend do not rent a scooter. There's really not much to see outside the port in Roatan. Once you leave the port, it's really a third world country that's not very tourist friendly, and it's not like an inner city where there's a lot to see, where you can walk. You pretty much, to go anywhere, you pretty much have to get transportation. So if I was going back to Roatan and I didn't want to do the beach, I probably definitely would take an excursion there. Can you tell me about the inside room for plus-size travelers? Sure, Tina. And all cruise lines work this way, so it's pretty easy. When you book, first of all the rooms are almost the same size regardless, whether you buy an inside, an outside, a balcony. There's a few more square feet in a balcony, but nothing really where it's going to be like a major difference. I actually prefer an inside cabin. Unless I'm taking footage for my channel and need a balcony, I actually prefer an inside cabin. And really, no matter what cruise line you go on, the beds are always 2 single beds, and the cruise line pushes them together when you're a couple or just want one bed, and they have a pad they put on top of it, so you'll never even really know that you were on 2 single beds. And there's really plenty of room. I had gastric bypass surgery, so I was a pretty large guy a few years back, and I really never had a problem. All right. Let's see, any more questions? Are the suites really worth the extra cost? Well, Christy, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, they are. If you have the money and you really want the ultimate cruise experience, I mean, a suite is definitely the way to go. We were lucky enough that Mickey Arison actually let us use his personal suite, the president of Carnival and the Fascination. And that was a 2,200 square foot suite overlooking the Lido deck, and that was definitely worth it. Unfortunately, you can't buy that suite. It's got to be gifted to you. But we have stayed in suites, the 2-bedroom suites, and yeah, it's if you have the money to spend and you really want to make that cruise special, yeah, it's definitely worth it. I would do it. We don't do it every time, though. It's a special occasion when we get a suite.
Yeah.
Hi, Stacy. No, we're not live. It's Memorex. I bet young people don't even know what that means anymore. Are you guys old enough to know what Memorex was? Video VHS tapes? I don't think my kids would know what they were.
I don't know.
Okay. Let's give this last prize away.
Do, 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 do.
Okay, this is for, oh, she's right here. This is for the bronze statue. Shh. This is for the bronze statue. We have a winner. That can't be right. We paid a lot more than that for it. Tell me that wasn't on it the whole time.
I don't remember.
Okay, so we just saw a price tag on the back of this statue. And we bought this in a tourist trap at Put-in Bay, Ohio, which is an island about 60 miles northwest of Cleveland. And it's like a tropical island in Lake Erie in the summertime. And I found the price tag on the back of it, and I'm here to tell you that I paid about 3 times as much as that price tag says. So, I'm hoping that wasn't the actual price and they just overcharged me.
We are having some people reply back, and they do know what Memorex is.
Memorex. So the winner of the statue is, can I read that? Ron Peterson. So Ron, send me a Facebook with your address and contact information, and I will get back to you, and we will get the statue sent out to you.
Fontes says you're showing your age.
Yeah, I know, I'm old.
We all are, that's okay.
All right, any more questions before we wrap this up?
I don't have any questions. Do you guys have any questions for us?
I think that's probably it. Thank you again for the 10,000 subscribers. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Our next goal is going to be 25,000, and we'll do some more live streams and some events along the way. But thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next time.